Hi everyone, I'm Hannah and this is the Purple Sector. This is a YouTube channel where we chat mainly about Formula 1 but we'll also be covering lots of other motorsports, mainly Formula E, Formula 2 and Formula 3. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the past couple of weeks, you'll have seen that the Formula 1 drivers market for 2021 has literally blown up. So, Giovinazzi, Sebastian Vettel is leaving Ferrari. Carlos Sainz has been signed, then Daniel Ricciardo decided to leave Renault and has now gone to McLaren. So there's been a lot going on. So here are some of my 2021 predictions. So I'm going to go in reverse order from the grid last year, starting with Team Kim last, ending with Mercedes. So first, least, Williams. I think Nicholas Latifi will be signed for the 2021 season, unless he does something spectacular, like crashes or causes major incidents or can't drive the car. Then I think he'll be resigned. He did a solid job in Formula 2, came second to now Mercedes Formula E driver Nick de Vries. He'll be a decent driver, I reckon, nothing spectacular, but I think the sponsorship that he brings to the team will be a welcome and much needed addition at the moment. And then his current teammate is George Russell. I think he'll be moving onwards and upwards to Mercedes. I'll touch a bit more about that when we get to Mercedes. Carl Williams has said he's on a long-term deal with the team, probably around 3 years, although it's a bit confusing. I think Mercedes will pay to break his contract. I think they can afford it, and I think Williams will take the money. I would love to see Jamie Chadwick in that Williams. However, I don't think it's going to happen. I think she's a brilliantly talented driver. 2022 grid, definitely. She gets some super license points she needs. She came fourth in Asian Formula 3 this year. And she obviously won the inaugural W Series, which I think is a great addition. I think 2022 she'll be in that car. 2021. The most likely contenders are Dan Ticktum and Jack Aitken. They're now the Formula 2 drivers this year, racing for Dams and Campos. Dan Ticktum at Dams and Jack Aitken at Campos. Both need to achieve 5th or higher in the Formula 2 season to get the super license points needed. My money's on Jack Aitken. It'll be his 3rd season in Formula 2. He knows the machinery and seems to be a popular, likeable character on the grid. I think he'd be a good addition to Williams. He's young enough. If Latifi does well this year, he'll have some level of knowledge in the car, and I think also Williams need to have and cultivate young drivers of their own. I think that's one of the things that does demoralise the team, and there's no level of consistency. I don't think Dan Ticktum's going to get it. A lot of people said, oh yeah, he will, he'll be next up in line. I'm hoping he learns after experiencing Super Formula, which, if you haven't seen, didn't really go well. They got dropped from the Red Bull program and taken on by Williams. I think if he settles his head down at Dams, does well this year, I don't think they'll promote him straight away. However, I'm going with Nicholas Latifi, Jack Aitken. Please can 2022 have Jamie Chadwick and that Williams. Now on to Haas. Firstly, I think Haas overtaken Kevin Magnussen. There might be some door slamming issues. If you haven't seen, go watch Drive to Survive Season 2. But overall, he's consistent, he's a decent driver, and of the current lineup of him and Roman Grosjean, he seems the most likely to be retained. Sadly, despite how much I like Roman Grosjean as a person, I think he'll lose his seat. Too many sloppy mistakes have demoralised Haas. I think they need a new driver to invigorate the team. Also, I think with the incoming budget cap will be a massive help for them, and I just think they need to start thinking of the future. Roman Grosjean is a great driver, but I think he's outstayed his welcome. I've got a feeling Daniel could be out again. He's an experienced driver, and sadly, he is not going to be retained at Alfa Tauri. He is basically a placeholder for that seat at the moment. He's not there because Red Bull want to promote him in the future. He's there as a placeholder for the junior drivers coming up. And I think that's a shame. I think he's a good driver. And I think going to Haas would be really good. He's got experience, he's got knowledge, he could help reinvigorate Haas. And I think him and Kevin Magnussen wouldn't set the world alight. I think it'd be a consistent and strong team for them to field. So I'm going with Kevin Magnussen and Daniel Kvyat at Haas. Now, on to Alfa Romeo. This actually hurts me to say it, but everyone's favourite Iceman, Kimi Räikkönen, I think will leave. I think he's going to retire. He said that F1's more of a hobby of his. I'm going to spoil it, Vettel's going to retire. And I just don't see him staying in F1 any longer. I think he's got a family, he's got a life. He'll probably still do racing, he'll go and do rallying or something like that. but I don't think he sees a future. It would have been interesting. I was more solid on that view he would retire before coronavirus happened. I thought the 2021 2022 changes, he'd have gone, what's the point in learning a new car for a year? They could decide to retain him. However, I think Alfa Romeo have done the right thing and are hedging their bet to the other current driver, Antonio Giovinazzi. I think he'll be staying. I think they place their team. The team will place their faith in him. I also think it's quite interesting the setup Alfa Romeo have. So if you didn't know, one of the driver seats belongs to the team, so belongs to Alfa Romeo. They can basically pick who they want. The other one belongs to Ferrari. And I think Giovinazzi will be at Alfa Romeo for the next couple of years. I think the situation with Charles Leclerc going to Ferrari, from Sauber to Ferrari, and then Carlos Sainz now being signed, has proved he's been jumped in the hierarchy. And it's kind of worrying because if he was kind of the next in line, and they said, oh, he hasn't got the experience and stuff, and then you're like, well, Charles Leclerc got promoted after a year. But which Charles definitely deserved the seat, but if you were him, you'd be kind of worried. And it's obvious that there's going to be young guns in that Ferrari driver academy chomping at the bit to get that seat. And as he'll stay at Alfa Romeo, help build the team up. But his teammate, well, it'll be from the Ferrari driver academy. I think my money is on 2019 Formula 3 champion Robert Shwartzman. Although it'll be his rookie season, I think he'll be able to prove himself in the series more so than Mick Schumacher. I think the shorter likelihood is Formula 2 is going to get a shorter season or kind of rush season. There's not going to be a lot of breaks to kind of reset. If you're having a bad weekend, you're on to the next one, and you just have to forget about it, move on, and go. If prior to the coronavirus, I thought Mick would have had it. Bluntly, I think second season in Formula 2, he learns to adapt. He normally gets better in his second season. However, shorter Formula 2 season or more condensed or whatever, disadvantage. He normally excels towards the latter half of the season. I don't think he's going to get that same separation. I think Robert Shwartzman will come in or be brilliant in that Prima car. My money's on him to get the Alfa Romeo seat. My money's on him to win Formula 2 this year, to be honest. Get that seat. Bam. Mick Schumacher might, if Mick Schumacher beats him, he'll get the seat. Whichever Ferrari Academy driver comes top is getting that seat. I wouldn't, however, count out, it might have been a long shot, Callum Ilott and Marcus Armstrong. Both kind of underdogs in the Ferrari Driver Academy. They've both kind of been overlooked over the past couple of years. However, if one of them, or both of them, I think they could mount strong title campaigns. I think they'll just be as good enough a chance as Mick Schumacher or Robert Shwartzman. But I think, honestly, Robert Shwartzman's got it. So I'm going with Antonio Giovinazzi and Robert Shwartzman at Alfa Romeo. Now, the Racing Point. However, 2021 will be called Racing Point. Well, sort of. It's going to be Aston Martin. They'll be moving the title branding from Red Bull. And now because Lawrence Stroll, aka Papa Stroll, has become kind of the owner of the team, he's brought Aston Martin on board. I think he'll probably be Aston Martin Racing Point. In terms of the drivers, Sergio Pérez has been signed to the end of 2022. And I don't think Lance Stroll's going to be going anywhere anytime soon, considering his dad owns the team. So, I think they'll be locked in. I think it's a good pairing. There is the whole thing about Lance Stroll only being there because his dad's there. I'm of a mixed view. I think he's a good driver. Should he have been promoted to Williams when he was? No. I think he should have done a year in Formula 2. And that's where, if he'd have gone to Formula 2, had more of a chance to prove himself, I think it would have shut the critics up more. So now, moving on to Alpha Tauri. I think Pierre Gasly will be retained for the 2021 season. I don't think Daniel could be out of his teammate, as mentioned before. My money's on the Red Bull Junior drivers, one of them filling the seat. I think it'll be Jüri. Honestly, I think he was fourth in Formula 3 last year, came second at Macau Grand Prix, and I think he'll have a strong Super Formula campaign this year. Don't think any of the drivers, even though there'll be a couple of them in Formula 2, I think Jüri has got that edge on them. To be honest, I think even Pierre Gasly's dates in the Red Bull Junior team are numbered. You proved you couldn't handle the pressure, or as he can't handle the pressure. It's more, you couldn't handle Red Bull's pressure. We'll go for that. Red Bull won't tolerate mistakes. They are going to look ahead. even though they've got Max Verstappen, who their future is basically invested in for the next couple of years, like Albon. I think they've always got that view of we need to have one eye towards the future. And Jüri, I think, would be a good fit. I think giving him the experience and hopefully someday seeing him in a Red Bull. Renault. They've got Esteban Ocon signed until the end of 2021. I think he's staying put. He was a member of the Mercedes junior team, however, when he joined Renault, they had to cut ties. And sadly, I think he has been leapfrogged in the Mercedes programme by George Russell, which has gotta hurt. So I think his sensible option is now looking for a long-term future at Renault. And French driver, French team, build the team up, national hero. Partner him, this is one of the ones I'm most unsure about. It depends on what happens in Formula 2. I think with the Alfa Romeo seat, one of the Ferrari junior drivers is going in that seat. Red Bull, they'll stick one of them in. They'll find a way. They'll get someone in. Renault, less sure about. If the Formula 2 season doesn't happen or whatever, they'll sign Valtteri Bottas. He's strong. He's consistent. He brings a lot of technical knowledge to the team. And he's showing himself to be a team player, which at the moment Renault will need. Renault will need as many points as they can from the amount of races they've got. I think they will need someone who will ultimately put the team first. And considering the amount of times Valtteri's been sacrificed for Lewis, I think he'll do it. If the Formula 2 season does go ahead this year, it's going to be either Guan Yu Zhou or Christian Lundgaard. They've got the strongest chance of getting the seat out of the junior drivers in the Renault Sport Academy. I think if Lundgaard adapts to his car, it'll be his rookie season in Formula 2. Top 3 or top 4 place him, he'll get the seat. Guan Yu Zhou seems to be the favourite at the moment because he's had the Formula 2 experience. And he did do well in his rookie campaign in Formula 2. However, from looking at the track record prior to it, I don't think he exactly set the world alight before he got in Formula 2. And I'm a bit unsure whether he'll do as well. And I think Lundgaard will adapt better, get in the car, do well, and hopefully get the seat. But it all depends. So I'm going to go with Esteban Ocon and Valtteri Bottas as my prediction for now. However, if we do get some racing this year, Lundgaard, I reckon's got it. Now on to McLaren. Well, we all know that Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo are signed for the 2021 and 22 seasons. However, I thought I'd mention this. I think McLaren need to have a look at their junior driver programme. Lando Norris obviously came through it. Nick de Vries used to be a member of it back in 2018. Then they dropped and left, I'm not sure. He then won the Formula 2 title. Sergio Camara was a member of it. He's now left to join Red Bull. From what I can gather, there is nobody in the McLaren junior team. And I am literally sat here like, what? McLaren? You're never going to probably see this video, but get some junior drivers in your programme. Look at the junior formulas, whether it's Formula 3, Formula 4, or Euro Regional, or Formula 3, or Formula 2. Go and scout those. Get junior drivers in. I understand you've invested in Lando Norris, and I think he's been worth it. I think he's a brilliant driver. And I understand now why you've got Dan there with the experience. But, God forbid, what happens if one of them can race? You'd be scouting around for drivers. You want junior drivers ready. Red Bull, for all their faults, normally have a lot of junior drivers. Yeah, they drop them like they can. They pick and choose when every 5 minutes. But they know that having a strong junior programme is what they need. It was what allowed Sebastian Vettel to become so successful. It's what allowed Daniel Ricciardo to come up. What allowed Max to come up. Ferrari. To be honest, I think Ferrari at the moment have the best driver academy of them all. And I think McLaren need to focus on the future as well as their current lineup. Now, on to Red Bull. To be honest, I think this one's pretty short and sweet. Max Verstappen is on a contract to the end of 2023. And Alex Albon, that's who he's now in, is going to stay. Unless he suddenly learns how to not drive a car during lockdown or absolutely cocks it up, he's going to be in that car. He stays close to Max. I think he's a good competition. Max, he'll push him without it going into Baku territory. or multi-21. I've got a feeling Albon will be good, be a strong driver, it'll be good for the team. It won't be kind of two Alfa drivers butting heads, crashing into each other and all that. They'll have a solid lineup, and Red Bull will be able to do the thing that they want to do most, which is the thing that most teams want, is the team's championship. You can want your driver to win the world championship all you want, but what matters more than anyone else to the owners, the team principals, is the team. Those two will push the team, and I have fingers crossed with the technical regulation changes, even with the budget cap, Red Bull will do well. I've got fingers crossed and high hopes for them. Now, on to Ferrari. With Sebastian Vettel leaving and Ferrari signing Carlos Sainz Jr., Ferrari are off the market, and especially with Charles Leclerc signed till 2024, no seats there. However, I'm going to be a little bit thingy, is I don't think Sainz and Ferrari is a long-term thing. Sadly, I've got a feeling he's going to be a placeholder teammate. He's going to be there to back up Charles Leclerc, to help Ferrari win the World Championship. If the car's all right, I doubt it, to be honest. But he is a placeholder. If a Ferrari Academy driver, say for example Shwartzman, gets in Alfa Romeo, does well, gives him 1 or 2 years experience to build up his confidence, I think Ferrari will get him in. I think Ferrari management have now realised that they can go with younger drivers. Previously, Ferrari was known for not taking advantage of their young drivers when they should have done. I think Sainz, although he's a brilliant driver, I don't think he sets the world light in the same way as, say, Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen do, or George Russell if they put him in the Mercedes. So I think he'll be there for a couple of years, maybe say the next 3 years, get a Ferrari Academy driver with the experience on the field, and then he'll be replaced. And after 13 years in Formula 1, I think Vettel will retire. I don't think his heart's anymore. I think, to be honest, the situation with Ferrari's probably broken his heart. Ferrari are the team that he worships since he was little, and seeing how they treat him is, to be honest, quite shocking. And so I think he'll leave. But I think he'll either go and do what Mark Webber did and go into world endurance racing, which I think would be good. It'd be interesting to see Vettel in an endurance car. But I've also got one other kind of prediction. I think he could go in the FIA. He was one of the directors of the Grand Prix Drivers Association alongside Alexander Wurz and Romain Grosjean. Previously, Button was on the directors. But Vettel's got kind of a very smart head on some good shoulders. I think he'd be a good addition to the FIA. I think he'd be good, or even as team principal, I think he would be a good addition to the Formula 1. Keeping him within Formula 1 would be amazing, because I think he's certainly a fan favourite and he's loved. And also, is if Mick Schumacher doesn't get that Alfa Romeo seat, there'll be no Germans on the grid. And I think, considering the place where a lot of great Formula 1 drivers come from, especially Michael Schumacher, I think it'd be a damn right shame if there wasn't some level of German driver involvement in Formula 1. So, now on to Mercedes, last but by no means least. Lewis will stay. Lewis will be staying until at least 2022. I think he'll wait to see how the delayed regulation changes come out. I think he'll want to break Michael Schumacher's records and then go. In terms of a teammate, George Russell. I think Mercedes Junior driver, current Williams driver. I think what Mercedes will pay to get him out of the contract, to be honest. I think he needs to be in that Mercedes and get the experience. His likelihood is in the next 2 to say 5 years, Lewis will retire. And then if they've not given him the experience, they've shot themselves in the foot. I think, to be honest, Mercedes have failed to capitalise on their junior programme at the moment, the same way Red Bull and Ferrari have. So there we go. I'm going with Lewis Hamilton and George Russell at Mercedes in 2021. So there we go. They're my driver predictions. Highlighted is they're probably going to be wrong. I'm kind of taking it all with a pinch of salt, but I thought it was a little bit fun, a little bit laugh. I mean, it's just my personal opinion. It's kind of based on what I know drivers that I like, to be honest, and also a little bit of research into it. But overall, yeah, that'd be a bit of fun. I'd like to see what predictions you have for the 2021 grid. So comment them below, like, subscribe, and also you can follow us on social media. I'll leave the Instagram handles in the description box below. And this is the Purple Sector.